Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday morning, club quarterback here from beyondthebaselines.com. Ed Shanafi. I don't have a great voice this morning because I've been traveling with my daughter for the last 4 days. Went to IMG Academy. That's quite a facility. Was there for 3 days at a college showcase, and then we traveled to another town in Florida. That was in Bradenton. It's the old Bolletary Academy, now IMG. Then we went to Lakeland to see Ed Crass. Some of you may know Ed. He has a wonderful college showcase, and saw some of the same coaches, some of the same parents, but a lot of other kids. And my daughter enjoyed that one a bit more. The IMG one was uh, was at 5 matches in 2 days, and affects your UTR obviously. And then the Lakeland one is more of a on-court study, competitive drills with the college coaches. So they see you in a kind of a team spirit event, which was great. Um, so I'm a little hoarse. I'm a little tired, a little jaded after 4 days of watching tennis. So I pulled my tendon in the gym, my Achilles, my old injury from 31. Great weekend. Anyhow, in terms of sports, I what a weekend. Okay, first of all, my Dukies win the ACC championship game against Virginia in overtime. I could barely stay awake. What a game! I can't believe that Duke has pulled that together, and I believe that this is a beginning of Duke football coming back and hopefully rivaling basketball in terms of its popularity. It would bring a lot more fun to the game. Here's an interesting statistic for you. It's not a stat. I went to homecoming a couple years ago, and then I went to a Princeton football game last year, and the stands are empty. Kids don't go, students don't go. Now, I know that the student body is much more diverse than it used to be, but as a general thing, I mean, I obviously SEC football is different. I mean, you see all the kids and the families there, but in these high elite studious atmospheres of a Duke or a Princeton and probably a Harvard, my takeaway is that the kids are busy in the library, and Saturdays are no longer for football; they're for studying and practicing your music or whatever. But they're not at the football games. I mean, Princeton, I think there was probably 100 kids there. Um, Anyhow, just something to think about in terms of sport, which we're all part of, being in the hospitality private members club business. And then the other big story out of this weekend's news is that Notre Dame has said they will bypass the bowl season since they were excluded for University of Miami. Now, of course, I'm going to pull for University of Miami on this one because they're ACC. And I think ACC needs to be represented. Notre Dame, I know it's tough because you've always been an independent. Maybe it's time to join a league for football. I think in basketball they're ACC, so maybe bring the football under that realm. I don't know. This is a tough one. I mean, 12 teams is tough. I wish they'd bump it to 16, but whatever you bump it to, I mean, they bump it to 64 for basketball. They bump it to 64, and we still argue who's on the bubble. I mean, they've hours and hours of ESPN coverage on who's on the bubble. So you're always gonna have a bubble, whether it's in a tennis tournament, 128 draw, who's on the bubble to get in, right? It's always obviously not as big a name, but it's always a possible a conversation to have. So great to see everybody out here today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the Monday Morning Club quarterback. This week, look, what I'm going to talk about after this week, watching what IMG does and what Ed Crass does with his their different showcases. What the college coaches said on the first night at IMG was that communication with them is essential. And it's the same for us as department heads, club managers, club governors. We want to get our policies changed or across to our membership. Same thing is communication. And communication basically is marketing. And just on a sad note, it is 1 year to today that my father passed. And I just went to a service in his name down here in Vero Beach at St. Helens Catholic Church, and I drove in, and the place is packed, and I'm like, God dang, Dad, I didn't know you were this popular. And so the police are there. I'm like, geez, it's a year on. Turns out it's the Immaculate Conception Holy Day of Obligation. which I forgot, being that I haven't been in church in many years. I kind of gave up practicing weekly a while back. But just on a side note, it is marketing and communication. And so the communication of obviously a holy day of obligation is still going on well. But in terms of our business, holy day of obligation, the whole part of the communication. So what the college coaches were saying is that no matter how you want to communicate with them, it's important to communicate. And it was funny. One college coach said, if you can't write a text, go to ChatGPT if you want to check your spelling. If you don't like working, I mean, all these kids do DMs, direct messages within Instagram. He said, if you want to DM the team, I'll get it. The team Instagram page. I thought that was interesting. And so it reminds us and it behooves us to use all the channels that are available to us for communication. So, for example, I mean, we all think about email, but email's kind of stayed and kind of old fashioned and traditional. If you're trying to get to a younger demographic, you're trying to get to a younger membership. Yeah, maybe a mass DM in Instagram or Facebook even. Uh, who knows? I mean, maybe LinkedIn is so big now. I mean, GMs are actually marketing their clubs, so they say they're marketing themselves and their team and how they've managed the team, right, on LinkedIn. And so it's interesting. Sean, I see you in the audience out there, and thanks for being on last week. How are we going to build our businesses? Your association, my Beyond the Baselines. I've been working hard on LinkedIn. I've taken a couple weeks off because I've been so busy, and I've noticed that my profile views are down. I'm gonna we redoing the website, so I haven't been really pushing Beyond the Baselines because we're under construction on the website. But it's interesting to see how that marketing does affect things. And so day to day, you've got to take an hour away and figure out of your day how you're going to communicate to your membership, how you're going to communicate to your clients or customers, depending on what business you are. And the coaches are all about communication. And here's the thing: they say, "Don't ghost me. If you're going to ghost me, say so." Right? If you're not interested in going to the College of the Adirondacks or whatever college it is, tell the coach. Be transparent so they don't waste their time. And that's the same thing with our marketing. Our marketing has to be specific to the demographic that we want to be a part of and market to, but it also has to be continuous and constant. And so I was just thinking of this, like, you could have a DM go out on one issue. Say it's a dinner, like I don't know, a holiday dinner on one day, and then hit the same membership. And when I was a marketer, and God rest his soul, my dad always said, Ed, you took your marketing skills to the tennis shop, and that's basically what I did 25 years ago when I moved back here to the United States after being one of the biggest record companies in Europe, CEO, and Emmys and Grammys and all that kind of stuff. I did it all. And then I brought it to a little tennis shop in Vero Beach and built Beyond the Baselines. And it's the different forms of marketing. It's all the same. We're marketing ourselves as tennis pros, as golf pros. You're out there marketing yourself. How well do you communicate with the membership? So many pros now are texting, and I've got a meeting at 9:30 today with our Padel pro because he's a wonderful marketer of the new sport at our boulevard here, but it's all on his phone and no one can keep up. And like all weekend, the front desk is like, who's on court 3? Who's on court 2? Who are you teaching? So I'm having a meeting with him. We're going to make it all on Google voice text so the front desk can look at what's going on and update the page, which he should be doing anyhow. But anyhow, that's what my 9:30 meeting is. Can't wait. He's a great kid and he's learning. He's from the Ukraine. And he's lucky to be here, and I'm happy to be a part of his time here and teaching him. It's part of mentorship. But look, posters, even A4 sheets around the club. I put them up for my Vero's Heroes next month. I've got them all over the club. LinkedIn posts. You don't know. I mean, you start a club LinkedIn page. Who's going to join? Members? Maybe non-members. If you have a member guest, maybe guest calls them members, says, I want to play. That's happening on the Padel courts. We had a woman down from New York. She's been to the club 6 times already. She's calling members to play again. I'm like, you can't keep playing. It's a private members club. Join. DMs, really big. I mean, mass DMs. Email, of course. Telephone calls. Let's not forget telephone calls. And here's the big question with our clubs. If you're a governor or a managing director, to keep the branding consistent. So I just did for the Boulevard a long document outlining consistency among the branding efforts and who's responsible and for each effort. And it's really important. You don't have to keep to a template, but you have to keep to the same gist, the same vibe. You don't want to go out like a traditional old time bookseller, and then the next email goes out and says, let's talk AI, right? I mean, you've got to be consistent, and you've got to find that spot for your club or your association or your business that really resonates the best with your customers, clients, members, and continue to hit that vibe in a consistent way. Um, Anyhow, that's my thought for today. I hope we all have a great week. Please email me any ideas you might have. Sean, I owe you that list of lawyers. I'll get that to you today. I was out Wednesday through Sunday with my daughter, but the attorneys, it's on its way. And I got some ideas for your association too. Hey, everybody else, great to see you here. Have a great Monday. And don't forget, next Monday, Monday Morning Club Quarterback with BeyondTheBaselines.com. I'm Ed Shanaffy. Great to see you. Have a great week. Take care.